Wawa, Webwe, Wiwi, Wowo, Woo, Borotiti, Borotiti, Kumekume, Borotiti, Borotiti, Kumekume,
New Zealand is often identified with sports and leisure, but today there is a growing awareness of the country's cultural heritage, with its roots in the culture of the Maori people. The Nelson region is the birthplace of the New Zealand Wearable Art Awards, but also home to many artists. Some of them have come from far away to find a place to express their creativeness, both in art and life.
We travelled and we sort of ended up in New Zealand and then later on also in Nelson, and that's how we came to live here. We immediately liked it. We liked the landscape and the people. The people here are very nice and friendly and open-minded, and there was a lot of other artists living here, so it was a positive environment for us to settle in. In 1978 we went to Africa together with two other families from Sweden to set up a glassworks as a Swedish aid project. I was there as an instructor, glass blowing instructor, and Marie as a glass engraver. We were there for 3 years. At the moment we are working mostly with Graal, and we are doing a variation of the Swedish Graal technique that was invented in Orrefors in the early 20s. And we paint on the Graal rather than carve the blanks. So we make a blank and we paint on, or Marie rather paints on it, and then I blow it and I finish it off. But it's really interesting and it's quite unusual too.
In Nelson, they focused on cultural activities, and people are participating in the different cultural events. The Wearable Art Award has been presented on stage since 1988, and today visitors are coming from all over the world.
New Zealand Wearable Art encourages designers and artists involved in entering it to make political statements in their work, environmental statements in their work, social statements in their work as well. And there was certainly like our recycle redress section, which is to do with keeping our environment clean, people using all sorts of rubbish to create things of beauty.
They all have other occupations. They do the modelling for wearable arts, but none of them are professional models.
Oh, it was wonderful, yes. Completely lose yourself, you know.
I retired.
Oh, retired?
Yeah!
You're not a designer?
Well, not by profession, no. Hey, if Donna Versace wants to come by, hello! But otherwise, no, I just do this for fun.
The concept is to take art off the wall and to actually put it on the moving body on a catwalk in the form of a show. The show is more than just a fashion show or more than just an art show, I suppose. It encompasses drama, theatre, lighting, dance. We have all ages of models involved in the show, from very young children. I think the youngest child we had this year was about 6 years old, and our oldest model was 81.
Like many other ethnic cultures in the world, the Maori people are claiming the right to keep their cultural identity and to decide their own future.
Right now I am standing on the exact spot where Captain James Cook arrived in Poverty Bay. Yes, James Cook arrived here in 1769, but my ancestors arrived here long before that.
Kia mo! To walk up here!
The Maoris came here about 1,000 years ago, and they came by canoe all the way from there, from Hawaii to here.
Kokiri, kokiri, rite, korite, orete, orete, etoa.
Apparently they were great navigators. They go by the stars. Yeah, and by the taste of the water too. The water tastes different in other areas.
Toki, toki.
They landed here and they started to build their houses here.
I was first introduced to glass blowing as a child, since my parents lived and worked nearby a glassworks in southern part of Sweden. And I remember as very young I was fascinated by the whole process and the environment, and I decided right then and there that this is what I want to do when I grow up. A lot of people think maybe that we blow glass for them when they come here, because it's like they can come and watch us blow glass, but it's more that we open the doors, we're doing our work and we open the doors for people to come and have a look. And we feel that it makes them more interested in the process, and therefore they can appreciate the product in another way.
I think the most important is to have a sustainable cultural tourism industry, and as artists we're very conscious of the impacts on our environment, and I know that artists for generations here have been guardians. You know, they're very concerned that we do not wreck this beautiful place and we can pass it on to the next generation.
Nelson is a very special place for a painter. One, we have this incredible light. I mean, if you're a purist for colour, the light is amazing. The light somehow gives a total vitality to the colours, and that in itself is very inspirational.
Once a year, young artists come to Nelson for a week to paint and sculpt in the open square located in the middle of the town.
What does it mean for you to participate in this event?
It gives me an opportunity to have the public see what can be done. It gives me an opportunity to really basically do a sculpture, because I'm not actually doing this as a full-time job. I do it as a hobby, so I'd create maybe only one or two a year, and in the meantime I'm in the middle of studies, so I've got a lot of work on my plate.
I think it's wonderful that that we can have contact as artists who are quite separate in their work. They tend to hide away. And coming to an event like this, we get together and get to talk to one another about each other's work and get to feed off the public, having contact with the people who appreciate the work.
I've been working at it for the last 15 years and I'm still not really making a living from it. So, but that's because I've been sticking to what I want to do, and I make work that's not safe. It's on that cutting edge. And
Nelson can sometimes be very reminiscent of Provence in the south of France. It has the same Mediterranean climate and is also home to a growing community of artists.